Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Loving Kindness, Loving Kindness class here at the Dharma Temple, kind of online edition. It is wonderful to be here with you and everybody here. My name is Alex, and this is our wonderful class. Like I said in the chat box, when you enter, please feel free to say hello. I would love to know who you are. And love to say hello to you. So hello, Jean. Thank you so much. Anna, thank you so much. Wonderful to be here with you. And Simulid, whoever that is, hello. It's good to see you. So I am still here. I still have COVID. Did I tell you that last week? I can't remember. But yeah, I think it was like, 2 Wednesdays ago, I think it was, when I was doing class, I said I didn't feel that well, but not COVID-y. Well, apparently it was COVID-y because the next couple of days I had a sore throat, and I haven't had anything since then. So for the next like week and a half, I've been fine, but have tested, positive. So I'm pretty much staying here, and that's okay. I feel well. And so I hope you all are doing well and staying safe and all like that. Something that I've said before, and I don't know if I applied it to loving kindness, is that, like anything in Buddhism, reasons why we meditate for, loving kindness, compassion, and all these, wonderful positive qualities, these kind of the verb of our life, whatever we do in our life to not cause harm to anybody. All of these things are a skill. So loving kindness is a skill and compassion is a skill. And there are ways that the Buddha talks about to do it right. Even giving, the Buddha talks about ways to do that correctly. And you're not expected to be right all the time. Like, what I feel is right or what I feel is wise changes a lot because I just learn more information. I get more experience. I read more, and I listen to wise people. One of the things, and not all these wise people are Buddhist. Pardon me. Some of them are just people I see that I see about and who are talking, people who know about these topics. I was in the post office. I was going to the post office a while ago, and there was a guy. This is the Hillcrest post office, and there was this guy who looked homeless, and he didn't look very good, and he was asking for money, and so I just gave him some money. I didn't really think too much of it. And this woman who was sitting in a car where kind of right in front of where I gave him some money, she goes, "He's just going to use it for drugs." And at the time, I didn't care. Good. Use it for drugs. Get some happiness, get a relief, because, being homeless is terrible. And so do whatever you got to do, and, that's just, and I still think about that a lot. And I still think about, well, did I do the right thing? And now I just think, yeah, I did the right thing. I didn't know if he was going to use it for drugs or not. I didn't care. I just gave because it was in my heart to give this person. And this person was clearly suffering. If you're in any kind of addiction, you're suffering. If you're homeless, you're suffering. So he was clearly, maybe he was in addiction. I don't know. But he was definitely homeless and definitely suffering. And I feel good about that. I don't always do that, I will admit, and I try to pick and choose wisely about when I do that. These things I learn a lot from these experiences, because a lot of times when somebody tells me I did something wrong, I really stop and think about that. Even if it's some lady who's talking to me about, he's just going to use it for drugs. It kind of took me aback a little bit. But because I wasn't really expecting that. So, I'm glad that I did it. And, Don't let anybody else kind of determine what is the right and wrong way to give, or the right and wrong way to express your loving kindness or your compassion to somebody else. Look, if you're wrong, you're going to figure it out, and you're going to be wrong at times. And that's okay. Don't stop doing it. Just learn from that experience, and let's try to be wiser about kind of what we do, or wise about what we do. And for some reason, that was really kind of, I was kind of thinking about that before, I kind of logged on for class today. So I want to talk about that a little bit. You never know what people are going through. And, again, if he used it for drugs, sure, go ahead, knock yourself out, get a little high, get a little happiness of, something that's going to take away your suffering just a little bit. Even if it's trading one suffering for something that, is another kind of suffering, but you think it's happiness. Sure, why not? All right, so we got 3 people who said hi. First, there was a lot of people here. Just a couple of people seem to have logged off, but that's okay. So again, this is the Dharma Bum Temple. This is the online class. This is the loving kindness class. The word that we talk about in Buddhism is this word called metta, metta. And this word, has a very rich meaning. It could mean loving kindness. It could be unconditional friendliness, goodwill. And additionally, it always also means not only for people to be happy, but for them to do the things that cause happiness, right? So if you know anything about the Dharma Bum Temple and our motto, you know exactly what causes happiness. So the motto of the Dharma Bum Temple is think good thoughts, speak good words, do good deeds. And all of these things do cause happiness. And so that is kind of one of the reasons why we do this class. Hello, Alyssa. Traditionally, one of the traditional ways that this is taught, when like repeating phrases over and over for somebody else, regardless of who it is they say, may you have happiness and the causes of happiness. Like may you have something, like something that's tangible. And that's always not sounded right to me, because these things that we do, these actions, this verb of our life, this expression, are like action verbs. That is what loving kindness is. It's a big action verb, and this practice is a practice of action. So it's not like having something; it's like doing something. You're actively doing something, and so like having causes of happiness doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for me. I would rather just say, may you do the things that cause happiness. So that's what we're going to kind of touch on a little bit. And I want to talk about that too as well. So again, we're going to do this meditation on loving kindness after we have this little bit of an introduction. And then we're going to have a little bit of a question and answer. Sometimes I have something extra I want to talk about. Sometimes I don't. And I would really like to hear from you, especially during an online class. I can't see you. There's nothing tangible that I can, we don't do this thing where we do like, I can see all your faces like a Zoom meeting or something like that. And I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe I will. I don't know. But, I can't see you anyway. So I would like to have some interaction. So that's why I always say, like, when you first log in, say hello, so I know that you're there. And so thank you for those who did that. I appreciate that, definitely. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to ask you, this is, before we start this meditation on loving kindness, is, do you have anything you want to share about like how you're doing, how you're feeling, how your life is going? Right now, we're still doing online classes. We hear things about lifting mask mandates, and so maybe that will allow us to hold in-person classes again soon in the next few weeks. Everything is pretty much up in the air. These numbers keep on going up and down. So it's really kind of a toss-up at this time whether when that's going to happen. And that's one of the things I love about the Dharma Bum Temple. We really care about you, and we really care about your health and your well-being and the well-being of everybody, not just somebody. So if it's not safe, we're not going to hold in-person classes. We're all happy doing classes here online. Jeff is fine with it. I'm fine with it. I'm sure Travis is fine with it. I know that this is potentially saving a life. So again, I am 55. When I got COVID, I had been like triple vaxxed, like vaccine boosted. And at my age, with some of the stuff that I deal with physically, this could have gone a much different way when I got COVID, a much different way. And I'm glad that it didn't. So, but still not out of the woods. This is getting annoying. I'm getting a little bit of cabin fever, having to kind of stay cooped up inside all the time, but that's okay. So while we, if you want to tell me anything in the chat box about how is it going for you or anything like that, we're going to talk a little bit about this meditation that we're going to do. And we kind of do it in a little bit of a different way. We don't really focus on a neutral person or the enemy. So if you're familiar with doing loving kindness meditation that way, we're not going to do that. And it's for a really good purpose, because we really need to focus on loving kindness for ourselves. And we do this in a really gentle way, in a kind way, in a way that we can really get that experience of self-compassion and self-love and love for oneself, that if you have that experience in your own heart, that naturally spills over onto everybody else, and it's an effortless spilling over. It is effortless. Hi, Marcel. And so we're going to first focus on loving kindness for our benefactor, and a benefactor is anyone who has shown us great love and great kindness. Yeah, I know, I got that. And then we're going to imagine our benefactor doing this practice for us. And the only thing that we have to do is just receive all of their loving kindness. And this is almost like kind of like a body meditation, where you kind of, you're receiving their kindness and you're seeing how your body responds. How does your heart respond to that? That's why it's so beneficial to put your hand over your heart. Is there any tension or tightness in your heart or in any other part of your body that you can notice? And if there is, that's okay. You just notice with no needing to make it any different, with no judgment, anything like that. Just notice. And then can you use this breath and breath energy just to breathe some space into that tension and that tightness? And so, when, that tension is revibrating a lot because it's in this small confined space. And when you breathe into that tension, you kind of give it space so that it's not vibrating so hard, so you can kind of let it do its thing and hopefully dissipate. But if it doesn't, that's okay. You can just kind of go on to the next thing that you're doing. You don't have to focus on it too much. Right? And then we're going to do this practice for ourselves. And so you can either, radiate loving kindness back onto yourself, or you can just repeat phrases of loving kindness for yourself. And then we're going to do this practice for all beings. Right? And that is going to be our meditation. So what we're going to do first, like for the first 5 minutes, is just kind of get connected to the breath. And just remember, even though this is a loving kindness meditation, there's always a mindfulness aspect of this as well. So you're going to at least have about 25% of your attention on the breath, and that will anchor you to the present moment. All right, that will protect you from the mind wandering off too much and getting attached to this thought or that thought or anything like that. Okay, so no one said anything. I don't know how anybody is. That's okay. You don't have to tell me. So let's go ahead and let's do this meditation, shall we? Oh, Anna said something. Glad you are feeling better. I was really focused on what was wrong with everyone at work today, so I'm glad I could turn a corner this evening with loving kindness. Yeah, I get that way too. I was that way at work today too. But that's okay. Here we go. So just allow your eyes to close, making sure you know that you had your in that seated position that's nice and comfortable for you and nice and sustainable. And when we sit like a Buddha. And you can even imagine yourselves as a Buddha sitting underneath your own tree of enlightenment, because each Buddha has their own tree of enlightenment. So it could be any kind of tree you want. This is said to be the sublime abiding. So beneficial it is. And just let my words just kind of wash over you. These instructions are really simple. So let's just take a deep breath all the way in and all the way out. At first, not forcing it, letting the breath be quite easy and natural. And then after a few breaths, you can experiment if you need to as to what kind of breath is going to refresh the body in a way that you can pay attention and be concentrated on this meditation on loving kindness. Again, always making sure you have about 25% of your attention on the breath. And focusing your breath, if you want to, at the base of the nostrils, feeling the air go in and out as you breathe. All the way in, all the way out. Nice and gentle. Just for the next few moments, let's just rest as gently as you can in the sensations of the breath. And so to begin our practice, our formal practice of loving kindness, we're first going to think of a benefactor. Again, a benefactor is anyone who has shown us great love or great kindness. Someone that's really easy to have these wonderful feelings flow. That it's almost like it seems to come naturally when we think of their love and kindness towards us, and how that really warmed our hearts. And so the only thing you have to do is just to radiate loving kindness to them, wishing them happiness, wishing that they do the things that cause happiness, which is the skillful thoughts, words, and actions. It helps to smile, put your mind in a good mood. And so just radiate loving kindness, and however you understand that word, we'll do this practice for our benefactor. And now shifting our focus just a little from loving kindness for our benefactor to now imagining our benefactor doing this practice for us. And the only thing that we have to do is receive all of their loving kindness. So just picture your benefactor, picture them smiling at you and wishing you loving kindness, radiating loving kindness towards you, wishing you happiness, wishing you do the things that cause happiness. You already have the experience of their love and kindness in your own heart. So, can you reflect on that and the gratitude you have for that? And just receive all of their loving kindness. And again, this is where it could be helpful to put your hand over your heart. So, if there are any areas of tension, can you just kind of use that breath energy? Just kind of breathe into that, giving it a little space and being mindful of the feelings of your body when you do that. And so we'll do this for the next few moments, imagining our benefactor doing this practice for us. And of course, still smiling. And now, can we now do this practice for ourselves? Just calling to mind your own wish to be happy, your own wish to be free from danger, healthy, and just keeping that hand over your heart if it's there, listening for any tension, any part of your heart that says, no, I can't do this. This hurts too much. Just gently breathing into that tension. And if you want, you can just repeat phrases of loving kindness. Phrases like, may I be happy. May I be safe from inner and outer danger. May I be well in body and mind. May I be at peace and live at ease in this world. Just choose one or more of those phrases and just repeat it over and over. And smiling when you do, it's so important to smile. So we'll do this loving kindness for ourselves for the next few moments. And then finally, can we explore the limitless quality of the heart, this limitless potential that we all have to have loving kindness for all beings in all directions, whatever living beings there may be, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded. May all beings be at ease. Just go as far out as you can. And we'll do this to end our meditation. Just allow your eyes to open. And let's just take the next about minute or so in silence as you stretch your arms and you stretch your legs. Keeping that mindfulness of loving kindness about you. This is also a really good time to let me know about uh, your experience of meditation, what that was like for you, anything, how it affected anything that's kind of going on in your life right now. If you have any questions about Buddhism or loving kindness, or we'll just keep it to that. And you could let me know, just type it in the chat box and we'll talk about it. So let's just do 45 seconds. Lord. There we go. Whew. Okay. As usual, that was good for me. I hope it was good for you. Doesn't have to be. Could be, some difficult things were going on, but even so, meditation is always going to be helpful, even if it's a difficult time going on. So I hope you all are doing well. Let me know. What's happening with you? What's going on? I'd love to hear it. And while we're waiting for this, one of the things that where you can tell whether your practice is giving you benefit, and this is something that is not always super pleasant to feel, is I remember when I used to lose my temper, whether at somebody or not, or just kind of in general. I remember I didn't care because I felt completely justified by my own actions. I felt justified, this kind of this righteous anger, this righteous sarcasm, or this righteous, what we like to call righteous, whatever that is. And we didn't really think about it, or I didn't really think about it, because I didn't have it felt justified to me, like I was okay, like I was right. So because I was right, then I could yell, or I can lose my temper, or I can say something, whatever, what now I would consider unskillful. And one of the things that happens, after you've been practicing for a while, is that these very same actions, whether somebody else hears them or not, even if you're doing this to yourself, these very same actions, outbursts, whatever, they tend to hurt, and that they certainly tend to hurt me. And that's because I'm growing in wisdom, and I know how unskillful it is, and I let that unskillfulness hurt, or that unskillfulness actually hurts, because I know I shouldn't have said that. I mean, it's kind of like letting karma do its job, like these negative outbursts and emotions, and um, whatever you want to call that. It's all felt now. There's no delusion There's no covering over anymore. It's felt fully, the effects of that. And I always feel terrible, like, oh my God, I should have said that. Or a lot of times it's like, I shouldn't have said that. I mean, sometimes I make a drama out of it and sometimes I don't. It all depends what it is. And so I don't know if you ever felt anything like that, but I know that's how it is for me. And, as you go on and you feel these things, like when you do like the very same actions that you've always done, these kind of unconscious things, they become really, really conscious. And you really become aware of that. It's like, oh my God, that really hurt me. I no longer have this heart of absolute pure stone or like 6'6" steel, where it can't penetrate my heart. It penetrates and it hurts. Like, oh my God, this is terrible. This is what I've been doing all along. So I just kind of want to throw that out there. So Anna said, great meditation. Thanks. I wonder about how loving kindness affects the heart. I feel so much better physically when my heart is loving rather than judging. I need to practice more. Well, right. That's kind of just what I've been talking about. After sustained practice, you really start to know the difference. Because maybe before you didn't, because these practices don't necessarily penetrate the heart right away. But the more you do it, and because this is a cumulative practice, right? That's why it's so good to practice every day, and so you'll see that. You'll see how over time that, oh yeah, this is so much better. And so you develop some new conditioning because you know what feels better. Oh, feels better, so I think I'm just going to do this. And of course, you kind of lapse off into kind of old behaviors and things like that. And that's kind of normal. It's all just part of practice. It's all part of this process. And you see, it's like, oh my God, this is so much better. This is so much better when I can be this way. Marcel, I realized a few times mind wandering, realized did not need to think at this moment, just enjoy. And I actually like how you put that, because a lot of times, especially when our mind gets lost in thought a lot, that we tend to get down on ourselves. But if we just say, oh yeah, I don't need to do that. Or like last week, I think when I said, when your mind gets lost in thought and you realize that, and you can just ask yourself, well, do these thoughts that I kind of got lost in, does that lead to suffering or the end of suffering? And of course, your answer is going to be at least to suffering, these thoughts. And so you do something that leads to the end of suffering, which is concentrating on what's going on right now, this kind of present time awareness, this moment to moment awareness. And you'll see, again, this conditioning builds up like, oh yeah, this is so much better. Sometimes I just say that I have to treat this person or thing that's annoying me with loving kindness. It totally helps me feel better about all. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a really, really good strategy. And I love that word. And I've talked about this a few times. I like this word strategy, because that's what all these practices are that we do, this loving kindness and compassion and all these other things, meditation, mindfulness. This is all a practice. This is all a strategy. This is all a strategy for liberation of the mind, absolute freedom and peace. And I like to put it that way because it's this way. It's not dogmatic. And the one thing that that us as humans suffer from is, especially with spiritual teachings, is to make them into dogma, make them into this kind of solid thing. Because even as you're saying, your strategies, like I like to say, to treat this person or that thing that's annoying me with loving kindness. And that's a wonderful strategy. But sometimes you can't do that. And sometimes that's not possible. And that also has to be okay. It's all pretty much situational when we're first in practice, and it becomes kind of less situational as we get better at it. Because sometimes we can't do that. I know sometimes I can't do that. And it's really, really hard, you know. Um, so yeah, but I love that. I love that strategy that you took. And thinking of it as a strategy kind of helps you also to just kind of be easier on yourself and gentler on yourself, and know that hey, sometimes I'm not going to be perfect at this, but this is the strategy I'm going to take, and I'm really just going to do my best. And it looks like that is kind of what you're doing, and that's really, really helpful, and I'm glad that you're able to do that. And that reminds me, my niece, who's in Alabama, she's awesome, and I love her to pieces, because even though she was raised in a particular way, as someone from Alabama might be, she really loves new things, and she's dating, she's getting divorced, and she's dating somebody now who she really likes and who shares a lot of the same things that she likes. And he happens to be a Buddhist, but from Korea. And they have their own kind of Buddhism there. And she was talking about her mom, his mom, who doesn't like her because she's not good enough for her son, apparently. But my niece is awesome, and she just will engage her in conversation. And she was saying that, oh yeah, my uncle is he's a Buddhist as well, and he practiced more Theravada Buddhism, which is from Southeast Asia, like Thailand, etc. She says, oh, that's Southern Buddhism. I practice Northern Buddhism. That's better. And when she told me that, I just laughed. I thought that was so funny. And that just kind of proves everything I'm saying, because even in Buddhism, we can get very dogmatic. And Buddhists can become very dogmatic. So we always have to watch out for that, because this just leads to suffering. Look, there are many different types of Buddhism out there, and they have different types of practices, and they have different different stories, and they have different methods, and they have different histories, and it's mixed with their own kind of culture, that particular country's culture. And so it kind of evolved differently, and it's a different kind of animal. It's a different kind of thing, and it's all fine. It's all wonderful, and it's easy to get really dogmatic about that. But I try to stay away from that. Absolutely. These practices work for me. They help me. And I'm really glad that these completely different things help you, even if it's different Buddhist things. That's fantastic. And I wish you nothing but the best in that. So if you want to explore different types of Buddhism, like Tibetan Buddhism or Zen Buddhism or Nichiren or Jodo Shinshu or whatever else there might be, and there's like a whole lot of others, please go do that and feel okay about that. You don't have to just kind of hold tight to one different type of thing. Well, okay, that looks like that's all we have. Thank you guys so much for the questions and things like that. Again, we love doing this class, and online, not online, in person, that's fine. We're just doing our best here, and we do it because we love you and we care about you, and we want you to be free from harm, and free from, be healthy, and we want you to be all of these things, right? We're just trying to practice what we preach the best way we can. All right. Thank you, Linda. So let's just join our palms together at our hearts, please. And may the benefits of this meditation, this discussion, be received by all beings. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be joyful and at ease. May all beings be happy. May all beings be loved and seen for the beautiful, radiant beings that they are, that you are. Thank you for coming. Thank you, guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we will see you next time. I love you all. Take care. Bye.